Our next two speakers are Brian Doctor and Dawn Tangai. Brian works as a Vitality Business Development Manager and has over 30 years in financial services, initially advising clients and the best way to protecting themselves and their families, and now more support for advisors. For the last 12 years, he has focused on Vitality's market leading proposition and their mission to make people healthier and enhancing and protecting their lives. Dawn is a fellow chartered certified accountant with over 15 years of compliance experience and accounting. She provides accounting, payroll, and consultancy services to individuals and companies and is currently working on establishing a first-class umbrella company that is customer-focused and not number-driven. A firm believer in providing exceptional customer service, as each client is unique and special in their own way. Over to you, Brian.
Hi, everybody out there. Let me just make sure that we get the right technology working. So can you see that Understanding Money conference?
Yes, we can.
2021. I'll go to full screen because sometimes let's go to that. Okay, is that all okay?
Yes, we can.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, thank you for inviting me along today. For those of you at the conference last year, you may remember me as doing a quick presentation on life and protection. And as I've heard Tendai state quite a few times, one of the things that this conference is all about is protecting our lives, but protecting the futures of our loved ones and our children and all of those things as well. So, and that is something that's really at the heart of what Vitality try and do and what Vitality are all about. So let me tell you a little bit about us. This presentation will take around about hopefully 20 minutes. And at the end of that, then I'll just invite some questions, anything that you actually want to know. Last year, we talked about life insurance, protection, critical illness, those type of things. This time, we'll be focusing much more on health insurance. And again, making sure that you're protecting you're protecting your health, and you can go about your business without being encumbered by incapacity. Why Vitality and what we do? Well, Tendai has already said in the introduction, a very nice introduction, by the way, is that we want to make people healthier and enhance and protect their lives. And, COVID is a big word, and we've heard nothing but for the last 18 months. But in these times, making sure and people are healthy, people are living longer and healthier lives, and they protect their lives is becoming a very key component of what we do. And how we do that? Well, we share. What we want to do is to make sure our members lead those healthier lives. As an insurer, that makes it better for us from a claims point of view, from a payout point of view, and also it's better for society. And that's what we do, and we cover that across our life insurance, our health insurance, and our investments. But let's talk about one of the most fantastic things, and everybody, and is a key thing out there at the moment, is our NHS. Our NHS is a fantastic establishment and has been around since the 1948. Here you see Sylvia Diggory became the first NHS patient. Back then in 1948, there was a huge budget for it, 14 billion. And the NHS has basically looked after us right the way through and is still looking after us, and is a fantastic, fantastic establishment for Britain. And in 2020, the annual budget, 122 billion pounds, okay, 1.13 million employees. It's just a massive beast, you might say. But of course, COVID has really put what the healthcare and NHS under massive strain. And this was I don't know whether anybody saw it out there, but this was a headline that was on the news yesterday. 4.7 million people are waiting for operations in England. 388,000 people were waiting for more than a year for non-urgent surgery, compared with just 1,600 people before the pandemic began. And the real thing, and the real key thing about the issues for you sitting out there watching this presentation is If you are looking after, you have a family, you have children, you have a house, you have loans, you have commitments. All of those things are based on your ability to go out and earn money on a daily basis. Whether you're running your own business, whether you're an employee, whether you're a director of a company, your ability to walk outside your front door healthy every day to be able to go and do your job, to earn money, to make sure your family is provided for. The key thing that you need is your health. If your health goes, what do you do about that? Well, you can go to the NHS, and the NHS will look after you, but they are under such strain, it's very, very difficult to get immediate response to any particular needs that you have. And this is a very key message, that the NHS is going to take time to recover from this pandemic and get the waiting list down. So what choice do you have? You go along to your doctor says, yes, I can see you've got a problem. I can see you've got a prolapsed disc in your back, or you've got a bad knee, or you've got a problem with your hip. That's stopping you getting in your car and going to work. That's stopping you getting out of bed. That's stopping you doing a lot of things. So can I go and pay to get my knee replaced or my hip replaced, or get the cancer treatment that I need? Well, you can. But whether you knew that cost of a knee replacement was £16,000, a hip replacement £15,000. I personally had a small mole removed on the back of my neck. It was precancerous. Thank God, no problems with it. It was removed. I went and saw my doctor. My doctor referred me to a consultant. The consultant scanned it and removed it, all within a week and a half. Okay, that was brilliant service for what we actually provide. But the problem with that is that cost around about £1,500 to £1,600, and just for one small mole. So you can see that providing for that care for yourself and paying for yourself in most cases is unaffordable. So what options do you have? Well, the benefits of health insurance really means that the first thing, no waiting lists. At the moment, if you go and see, how easy is it to go and see your doctor at the moment? Probably 2 weeks before you can sit in front of your doctor or your local GP. He may well then refer you. How quickly can you get and see those diagnostic tests? Again, NHS, could be weeks, could be months. Do you have a choice of hospital once those tests are done? No. Do you have a choice of consultant? You're lucky to be able to see a consultant within the next few months. So will you have a choice? No. Will you get a choice of the drugs and treatment? Will you get privacy? How clean will your hospital actually be? So the benefits of health insurance is the fact that the waiting lists are reduced. If you are running your own business now, or you are a key worker and you are bringing in money for your family to keep them to pay for their bills, to pay for their schooling, to make sure there's food on the table, you cannot afford to be waiting for a consultant to see you whilst you're unable to go to work. You don't want to be waiting for those diagnostic tests. What you want to be is seen, diagnosed, and then treated as soon as possible. And that is the benefits of your own private medical insurance. And why do customers buy private medical insurance? Well, it's here. Reduced waiting times, 76% reduced waiting times. Availability of appointment times, much easier. If you ring your local surgery now and ask for an appointment to go and see your doctor, it could be weeks before they can actually see. And the comfort and the quality of the accommodation in private accommodation, the choice of consultant, and the higher quality of care. This is what, when we ask customers, are their key requirements. This is what our customers tell us they would want in an ideal world. Okay. And what Vitality try and do is provide that for the customer. We were the first insurer to cover biological treatments for cancer. The problem is that cancer patients now, there's an organisation called NICE which runs claims within the NHS, and they will actually see whether that they can actually afford to give you the treatment that you require or need. Okay, so we integrate benefits within and is underpinned by our whole health and well-being. The first insurer to cover CBT as our core cover benefits. CBT, one of the biggest issues that we have had during lockdown at the moment is mental health. Okay, mental health is talked about all of the time. And what we want to try and do is we are all about prevention. Underpinning everything that we do is you as a client don't want to be ill. You as a client don't want to get illnesses. You don't want to get diabetes. You don't want to get cancers and all of those things. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to be preventative. We want to show you and enhance your health to stop you getting these things. But if you do, then we want to be the best provider out there to make sure that you're protected and looked after. So what do we do as a company? The first thing, a lot of other insurance companies, especially private medical insurance, they focus on the end service, i.e. make sure that we get you in front of the doctor, make sure that we get you treated. And that's the end product. And of course, we want to be one of the best out there. But most clients, well, virtually all clients, not most, don't want to be ill in the first place. They don't want to be in hospital. They don't want to have cancers. They don't want to have diabetes. So actually, Vitality is different. We spend our time here. We want you to understand your health. We want people to get healthier. I mean, I don't want to be too brutal about this, but COVID in the last 18 months actually picked on the weak and the unhealthy in our society. They were the people who were most at risk, the people with underlying health conditions, the people with respiratory problems. They were the people that were most at risk. Vitality's mission statement is, firstly, if you are a member with us, we will encourage you to improve your health, improve your lifestyle, to get healthy. And actually, we will reward you for doing that. And actually, what we talk about is the main behavioral things, and these are the things that we want to change. So the four main issues, behavioral problems in society at the moment are physical inactivity, poor nutrition, smoking, and alcohol. And those four things lead to the four biggest problems in society and society's health. And they are cancer, diabetes, heart and lung diseases. And it is exactly these people in this pandemic time that were almost targeted by, not targeted, maybe a wrong word, but COVID actually took the biggest toll on. And actually those four things will lead to the 60% of all deaths worldwide. And Vitality take a big approach to this, and they go, yes, we will treat you for all of these things, and we will give you the best treatment we believe in the marketplace at the moment. But actually, the first thing that we want you to do is make sure that you don't get those in the first place. So understand your health, understand these risks, get healthier and get rewarded. Okay, that underpins everything that we do. If you do those things and restrict these, you will then get less of the cancer and the diabetes, the heart and lung diseases. And then you're less likely to end up in hospital. You're less likely to have serious illnesses. You're less likely to die young. You are more likely to live a longer, healthier lifestyle, okay? And that is a benefit to you. That is a benefit to us as an insurance company, and it's a benefit to society as a whole. Because fundamentally, and I know Tendai talks about it all of the time, and everybody out there with a family, you want to spend as long as you can with the people that you care for and your family and your children, okay? This cruel disease that we have spent the last 18 months with has split and damaged the families with early deaths and the serious of the illnesses that are had. Vitality is a change for good and actually want people to spend more time with their family. But of course, we want to protect you when things are bad. So don't let things get bad, but if they do, come to a company that will give you the best protection out there. So once the second tier of this is that clients actually want ease of use. They want to be able to get to, excuse me, too much talking. They want to get to the treatment as quickly as possible. They don't want to hold on. Anybody that's rang their local surgery in the last few months, few weeks, 40, 50 minutes, holding on there, trying to get through to somebody to try and get some treatment. What we want to do is make that as easy as possible for you. So with Vitality, if you want to speak to a doctor, you don't have to go to your surgery. You can, of course, go and speak to your doctor if you want to. But if you want to see a doctor who can actually look at the illness, look at the issue that you have, give you a prognosis, maybe even give you a diagnosis, you can do that online with us. And that's available to all our members at no additional cost. You don't have to leave home. If you're running a business, you don't have to leave your work. You can go to a private place, go onto your smartphone, go onto your iPad, go onto your computer. You can have a half-hour consultation with a GP, private, confidential. Currently, your own GP is only booked to see you for 8 minutes and can only talk about one thing that's wrong with you, okay? Because they are under so much stress. Our GP, you get a 30 minutes, you get a private consultation, you can speak to him about whatever problems, and he can, in most cases, refer you on to the best specialist, okay? You can get your consultations and bookings up to 48 hours. You can get an additional £100 for minor diagnostic tests, your blood tests, all of those things. We have a fully integrated, seamless member journey, which starts at prevention. How do I stop myself getting ill? If the worst happens and I do get ill, can I access that treatment as quickly as possible? If I can access that treatment as quickly as possible, can I then get diagnosed? And can I get a consultation? And can I get that things, whatever it is, sorted as soon as possible? And the major benefit of that is then you can get back to work. You can get back to work and earn money to provide for your family. If you're lying in bed ill, waiting for the NHS over the next 2 years, as brilliant as the NHS is, you will be on a waiting list waiting for somebody to give you a consultation. Can you afford to not be working and providing for your family for weeks, possibly months? And if you can't afford to do that, and you want to make the best for your family and make sure that you can be back at work, private medical insurance is one of the key things that you should look at. And then from there, obviously look at life insurance and prevention and serious illness cover and income protection. But private medical insurance should be one of the bedrocks. And what we'd always encourage you to do is, if something like this you feel is important, obviously speak to Tendai. She will talk you through all of the things that you actually need to do, give you illustrations and quotations for what we provide. And of course, we want to make it easy for you to see what care and what treatment that you're doing. So any treatment that you're getting, an example on here is that this client has had some hot flushes, some chronic pain, a little bit of strain injury, cold hands and feet. She's gone to our GP, she's looked at that, they've been referred on. Those things have either been seen, they've been sorted, they've been treated, whatever it is. But you can actually see what's happening with your treatment, what's happening with the consultations that you're actually doing, when your next consultation will be. We want you as a member to be in control of your treatment. That is something that you certainly can't get on the NHS. Okay, so full information, the ability to self-refer, the ability to get physiotherapy when you need it in a timely manner, in the place where you want to be at a time when you want to do it, is all about clients taking control of their own health. And then if they are unhealthy, being able to control the journey through to getting you back on your feet, back out, earning money, protecting your family, making sure there's food on the table, making sure they're well provided for. And of course, we are about prevention. We are about member control and you having control over your journey. But again, this is where everybody else comes in, and where we come in is the fact that at the end of the day, you don't want to be ill, but if you are, we will give you a full cover promise. We will make sure that there's mental health cover out there. You know, mental health in this current climate is one of the biggest things out there that's affecting so many people that have been in lockdown. With us, you have access to CBT treatment. You have access to our mental health partners. You can go there. Sort these things earlier, they're less likely to go on to severe problems in the future. earlier treatment, earlier intervention is the key for all of these things. And again, we will give you fully comprehensive cover, and we'll give you advanced cancer cover. What we will do is, if you have cancer, we will follow you that all the way through, hopefully cure that, hopefully make sure that it never comes back. But if the worst happens, make sure that that follows you all the way through to palliative care. And just to big us up a little bit, the reason why Tendai asked me on this is that she recognises Vitality from a cover point of view, from a level of cover, and actually from feedback and awards out there in the marketplace. We do have 5-star, de facto 5-star ratings from some of the biggest publications, and that's from members that have used us, and that's from brokers that actually recommend us out there. And then we're seen as that because, again, we are about prevention, and then diagnostic, and then about cure. But we want to stop you getting these things in the first place, but want to make sure if the worst happens, that you get the best treatment. And what underpins all of that is when you understand your health and keep yourself healthy, we will reward your healthy lifestyle. What we actually do is we say, go out and keep yourself healthy, and we'll give you a little reward for doing that. We'll maybe give you access to lower screenings. We'll give you access and maybe give you feedback and give you, say, a little cinema ticket or a coffee for doing the right things. We'll give you discounts of gyms. We'll even give you discounts at of holidays, Disney store, hotels, and those type of things. But these are not a reason to take out our plan. These are a reason to keep yourself healthy. Okay, but fundamentally, it's about making sure that you are well protected. And engagement with us, those people that keep themselves healthy, those people that get rewards, well, we actually make sure that they can get access to 135,000 Apple Watches that our members have taken out in the last 2 to 3 years, 15 million drinks that we've actually given out. So again, this is how we reward our members to keep themselves healthy. So again, enhance and protect people's lives. We want you to lead a healthy lifestyle so you live longer with the people that you love. If that healthy lifestyle, if unfortunately you get ill, we want to make sure that you're protected and looked after in the best possible way. Thank you. And any questions?
Thank you so much, Brian. That was awesome. And, I can testify because I have Vitality. And during this lockdown, I actually had my annual MOT done, where you check your glucose levels, all sorts of vitals, because lockdown has put us under a lot of pressure. And just a visit to the GP hasn't happened. And, it was quite reassuring to see where things are going right. And of course, where things are going wrong. I, like maybe a lot of people, have had the BMI scenario not looking too good.
Hands up, all those who've got a BMI scenario.
Come on, put up your
Yeah, hands up.
Need to do a bit of work on that now that summer is here. The pressure for the summer body to come out is clearly there. So you can stop sharing your screen, Brian. That's great.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. And your health is your wealth. Like I was saying earlier on, you know, someone's asking me a question here. I'm currently Vitality Health Insurance and have 2 children on my policy. However, can I add siblings or parents to my policy? Someone's asking that for you, Brian.
Absolutely. So you can add. It depends whether it's a business healthcare scheme or whether it's a personal one. If it's a personal healthcare scheme, you can certainly add children. You can't add siblings, so you can't add brothers or sisters to your own personal healthcare scheme. If it's a business healthcare scheme, and you'll know the difference, if it's personal, the scheme will be in your own name. If it's a business scheme, then it will be in the name of your business. And if it's business, then as long as they're employees, you can add them to your plan. Okay. But if it's brothers or sisters and they're not employees, then they're going to have to take out their own plan.
I hope that answers you, Calvin. And Someone else has asked me. I'm so sorry, guys. If anyone wants to ask me a personal question that they don't want to put on the group, please pop it in my personal chat. There's Joanna out there saying, "Is there a reason why chronic conditions are covered?" Is that your question, Joanna? Don't know. Brian,
So chronic conditions aren't covered.
aren't covered.
Okay, so the thing being is, if you take out private health insurance and you already have a chronic condition, the insurer is not going to cover you for that condition, because effectively you're taking out an insurance plan and you already have an illness. So what you're doing is you're taking out an insurance plan, and the insurer is straight away going to have to pay for that chronic condition. So what will happen with private health insurance is that normally pre-existing conditions will not be covered on your plan. But if you take out a plan and that chronic condition then starts 2 or 3 years later, of course we will cover you for whatever the condition is. You can go and have your GP referral, you can have your consultation, and we will try and obviously manage and sort that chronic condition out for you. So yeah, it's pre-existing things that aren't covered. But if you take out a plan and it was not a pre-existing condition, and 2 years, 3 years later, it then comes along, of course we will treat you for that. And of course, what underpins Vitality is we don't want you to get that chronic condition in the first place. Like diabetes is a chronic condition, okay, because you're taking pills for it every day, okay? So that becomes then a chronic condition because it's ongoing. We don't want you to get diabetes in the first place. We want you to reduce your BMI, keep yourself healthy, okay, exercise, so you don't get that chronic condition in the first place.
Awesome. And someone asked, in cases where treatment has to be carried out at an NHS facility, are medical records shared with my GP and the hospital where the treatment is taking place?
You have that choice, but normally those medical records would be shared. So if what tends to happen, and what normally happens, is you go and see your GP, although you can see our GP if you want. Your GP will then or our GP will then refer you. You can then say, well, I have private medical insurance. Can I be referred to a consultant of my choice? But they would normally share that information with your own GP to put on your own medical records. The importance of that would be if there was ever an emergency and the NHS picks you up in an ambulance and takes you to your local hospital, it would be very important that that they have medical records for something that you might have been treated for 6 months ago. So they would almost always share that information, because without it, they might give you a medicine that is, you know, that you shouldn't be taking. So I'm sure if you don't want it sharing, you could ask, but in most cases that they would share.
That's awesome. And like you were saying, Brian, it's so important to invest in yourself. I work for myself, and really taking a day off or waiting on a queue, and what happens with most people, life is busy. You let a niggling little problem keep going on because you can't, there's that long 30-minute queue, and then when you get to the top of the queue, the phone drops off. And so you start to nurture an illness inside of you instead of having it checked out. So things like private medical, I'm so passionate about it, because I just think, I hear people say all the time, oh, I can't afford it. Oh, that's very expensive. But you'd sooner send money back home or to build a house that you might not get to live in because you're not
clearly there is a cost to private medical insurance. There is always a cost to these things. But let's say you are self-employed or a business owner and you're earning, again, you're earning £50,000 a year. Okay, and you're trying to send money home, and you're looking after your children and maybe looking after parents, and that £50,000 is paying for all your bills and everything. If tomorrow you can't get out of bed because of chronic back pain or a slip disc or whatever, and the NHS says, well, it's going to take us 3 months for you to get a consultation, can you afford to not go to work for the next 3 months? If we put it into another context, people were furloughed. People were guaranteed money by the government because they couldn't go to work, okay? If you are ill tomorrow, the government is not going to guarantee your money, okay? So where are you going to get money from? You need to be able to provide for yourself. So although a premium for private health insurance might seem to be, yeah, it's not what I want, can you afford to be without the £50,000? And health insurance at the moment has never been busier and has never been more in the forefront. And lots more people are going, I cannot afford to be too ill to go to work. I need to be sorted. I need to have a consultation and I need to be better so I can go out and provide for my family.
That's right. And it's probably reviewing, because I always say that you have the money on your budget, on your spreadsheet. It's the choices that you make of where are you putting that money. Cynthia, you've got a question. Do you want to ask that question? And that will be our last question before we move on to Dawn, whom we've already introduced. But thank you so much, Brian, for just bringing it home, of the reality on the ground and what is available, what is possible. I've always been passionate about insurance, over the years, life insurance, leaving a legacy, critical illness, because I say the biggest asset out there is you. So when we've been talking about hashtag upgrade, hashtag understanding money, you are the most valuable asset out there. It's your ideas that are bringing the money in. It's your grind and your hustle that are making sure that £1,000 is dropped into your account. If for any reason you can't get out of bed, if for any reason you can't go and do those deals, if your mind is not sound enough to be able to make those spark plugs work, everything stops. Everything halts to a grind. So I just urge everyone to start upgrading and realizing the value that you have in your own life. In your own life. To Cynthia, do you have that question? Are you still typing, or you can just unmute?
Yes.
Great.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi, Tendai. Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I have a question. So I've had Vitality for quite a while now, I think almost 5 years.
Yeah.
But my question is around because we have these other insurances in our community which best cater for because for us, like, funerals have to happen, let's say in a week's time or something like that. So my question is around the payout. Like, if let's say something is to happen and someone is to die, what's the payout period? And also, maybe Tenda, you can help with this. Is it necessary for me to also take out those other life insurances, like a diaspora funeral plans or stuff like that, that give a quicker payout that's able to pay for the funeral in time?
Brian, I'll let you answer what you can answer first, and then I'll answer.
I'm not sure. There's certainly no payout on health insurance.
No, she's talking about life insurance.
Life insurance. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay. So if you take out life insurance, well, I think your question is what should I take out and what should I protect myself for, and what would be the payout? So what we're talking about, again, I can't give advice, that's down to Tendai and your own certain situation. But what we're talking about here is underpinning everything is protect your health. So you have health insurance, which is fantastic. It's even better that it's with Vitality. So that's brilliant. So you are protecting your health. If you're ill tomorrow, you're going to get dealt with and you can get back to work straight away. If that's a little bit more serious and you had maybe a cancer or a critical illness, then what would happen is that we would recommend, or Tendai would recommend, critical illness for you that would pay out a lump sum to make sure that if you're ill for a lengthier time and unable to go back to work, that you've got a lump sum to provide for your family. If you should die, then again, life insurance will pay out a lump sum, which then can be either written into trust or provide for your family if you're not around. Remember, again, I'll go back to this 50. If you earn £50,000 a year, and that provides for all of the people around you, what happens if you die or are seriously ill or can't work? That £50,000 stops coming in. So you should insure yourself. If you had a magic slot machine in the corner of your house, and every time you pulled the lever, it produced £50,000 and it paid it to your family, would you insure that slot machine? Of course you would. You would make sure that that slot machine always works. Because if it breaks down and stops giving that money out, okay, how does your family survive? And that's what insurance does. Brilliant that you've got health insurance, but also make sure your family's provided for death and for critical illness.
Yes.
Yeah. I
And
mean, so I have
yeah, I
and my question was around the payout period,
yes.
because like for us in our community, funerals don't wait till 3 months, right? So it
All right.
normally has to happen within a week. So my question is about what is the period of time for payout, right?
Right.
That's
So
the
if
question.
you die, okay, what happens is you need to put in a death claim. So that death claim goes to our claims department. They will then we will require a death certificate. We will require the reason, and maybe even a coroner's report. Okay, and we will write to your doctor, because if just to check that when you took out the life insurance, you hadn't had 7 heart attacks that you hadn't told us about. Okay, so that does take time. You will not get money from a life insurance plan within a week. Okay, it will take as long as it takes for the doctor to send back the medical report, for the coroner, and for the death certificate to come in. So normally most claims will take weeks, a number of weeks. You won't get paid out in days, unfortunately.
Okay, so I guess, Tendai, my question to you would be now, so is it advisable for me to take out a diaspora funeral policy plan?
Okay. So what I would always say to individuals when I sit down with you, I look at your budget. So for instance, if you're a young couple with kids hustling, and let's say you have a £30 a month budget or £50 a month to put towards protection, right? And I'm looking at your little one and saying, right, if say that £30 premium will give you 10,000 that will come out quickly on your death, versus perhaps looking, just for an example, what £30 at your young age will give you, say £150,000 lump sum in trust, which might take 2-3 weeks to pay out, if you've put it in trust, and it's quite a simple case when you die. My question to you is, that budget, where would you want, if your son came to me and said, oh, thank you, Auntie, for setting up this policy for my mom, and I say, oh, wonderful, there's £10,000, your mom had a policy, or there's £150,000, your mom had a policy. Which one would be better? Which is why you have to really think about it for your personal circumstances. Those policies, I think, are wonderful, especially when you've got your uninsurable elsewhere, when you've got conditions, BMI, loads of health conditions, because they don't underwrite based on medical circumstances. So I think that is fantastic for that. However, with your premiums, coming back to the budget, where are you putting your money? What are you getting out of it? So that extra 2 weeks for maybe 100,000 or 200,000 difference, is it that urgent to get that money that quickly? If people know that you have a policy that's going to pay out 100,000 in 2 weeks, you can use your overdraft. You can borrow money from a close family to do the funeral because the money is coming. Does that make sense? So it's with your budget, what you're spending, what choices do you have? You can pay a lot for something that pays quickly but only pays £5,000 just for the funeral, but you've got young kids. How are they going to survive? Your salary will not come back anymore. If I had set up a family income plan for them as well as a lump sum, that might be better income. So I think it's very individual, based on your budget, on your plans, on your family circumstances. For somebody who's maybe in their late 50s, health conditions, no kids are dependent on them anymore, then maybe I would say that's fantastic. Go for it. You know what I mean? So really and truly, it boils down to bottom figures. And is there an issue with having multiple life insurance policies with more than one provider? No, there isn't. As long as you're paying your premiums on them. I think there's certain limits, Brian, aren't they, where they would do additional checks, because they'll be checking, why do you want all that insurance? But as long as you're paying your premiums, you can have several policies.
Well, that's good to know. Thank you so much.
That's okay.
No problem. And thank you for being a Vitality customer.
Hey.
Yeah. I was actually asking because I want to refer some friends to Vitality, but obviously I just had that one question. So yeah, so
Refer
definitely
them to Tendai.
For them to
That'd be
me.
perfect.
absolutely, absolutely.
Wonderful. Okay. So thank you so much, Brian. Thank you for that presentation. Our health is our wealth. We're going to exercise more, look after our health, look at those incentives, invest in our well-being.
Our health is our wealth has never, ever been a more
True.
true statement than it is today.
Yeah, yeah.
Look after it, invest in it.